The 6 worst foods in the world, do you know what they are? I'll tell you a list of foods that end your health. So pay close attention because there is scientific evidence that they can harm your health and even cause harm, even increasing the risk of cancer. So pay close attention, write down all of them so you can remove them from your diet. Since I said there are foods that can increase the risk of cancer, the number 1, salami, Parma ham, turkey breast, ham, sausage. These foods have nitrite, a preservative that has been related to an increase in the risk of bowel cancer, stomach cancer, for example. So these are foods that you have to be careful with. Besides having a high sodium index, there is a lot of sodium in these foods. And what is the problem? Sodium can increase the risk of having a stroke, a spill, for example. It can increase blood pressure. So if you can remove these foods from your diet, you will be doing a good business. And number 2, soda, sweetened liquids in general, juices or drinks that have fructose syrup, or sweetened drinks, as is the case with sodas. Why? Besides several preservatives and dyes, like caramel 4, sodas will make a spike in blood sugar. They have a type of simple sugar that your body digests in a very easy way. So there will be a spike in blood sugar. The blood sugar will be very high. For that, you have to have a spike in insulin. And this for your metabolism is something that is not good, especially if you already have some change in glucose. So, sodas, you have to eliminate from your diet, besides providing an excess of calories. It is a simple sugar, a pure sugar, a simple carbohydrate, which will bring a metabolic consequence and also an excess of calories. If you remove it from your diet, you will be doing a good business. Number 3, margarine. Because margarine has trans fats, this type of fat has already been related to an increase in cardiovascular risk, an increase in the risk of you having a heart attack, for example, heart attack. These trans fats for metabolism are also bad. They are worse than saturated fats, just so you have a sense. So, for your own good, don't use margarine if you really need it, or if it's a big deal. Change it for butter. It's not ideal. It's not good for your health, but it's less worse than margarine. Number 4, seasoned foods and foods rich in sodium, like instant noodles. Because if you ingest an excess of sodium or salt, you have a much higher chance of having an AVC. A spill, for example. So pay attention to these foods. There was a study that showed that people who consumed up to 2 grams of sodium per day, or 5 grams of salt, had a 40% less chance of having a spill, of having an AVC, than those who consumed more. If we analyze the average consumption in the United States, Portugal, even in Brazil, it is more than twice the recommended. That is, more than 10 grams of salt and more than 4 grams of sodium. So pay attention to these foods. If you start to analyze the labels and see how much sodium you have, you will see that they are absurdly high values, much more than you need per day. Many patients, many people who have high blood pressure, are hypertensive, end up not doing this sodium control, and have to take several medications just for this excess of sodium. And when I explain this, pay attention to sodium, many patients say, but I don't put salt in food. But even so, you have to take care of these foods. Sometimes you don't put it in, and you're doing 3-4 times the values you need of sodium per day. So pay attention to why. What's the problem? The problem is that sodium in the kidneys ends up preventing the kidneys from eliminating liquids, eliminating excess water. So if you have a retention of liquids, you will have several consequences. One of them is to increase blood pressure, to have high blood pressure. So pay attention to that. If you're enjoying it, there are still 2 foods missing, but I'll let you like it. If you're finding this video useful, it also encourages me to make more videos like this. Number 5, refined sugar, simple sugar, that sugar that you put in coffee, or if you're going to eat a cake, put sugar on top, or white flour. If you're going to eat bread, you don't have to stop eating bread, but eat wholemeal bread. If it's a cake, eat wholemeal bread, a wholemeal dough, because that way it won't increase your blood sugar level. It won't be a carbohydrate, a sugar. Digestion so fast, so you won't have insulin spikes. So pay attention to that. Carbohydrates, simple sugars, refined sugar, try to eliminate from your diet. A lot of people will say, it's not possible, then it will be very difficult. No, if you have coffee without sugar, you can get used to it. You can eat a wholemeal cake. Stop using white flour, for example. It will do good for your health, because refined sugar has already been related to several metabolic changes. So it's worth making that effort, no matter how difficult it seems at first. Number 6, packaged foods, fast foods, like those frozen burgers you buy on the market, in addition to several preservatives and also a high sodium index. You can exchange, for example, instead of buying it ready, frozen, buy it in a box. If you do the question of eating a burger, do it at home. It will be healthier, and you know the ingredients you are putting. What grade do you give for this video? From 0 to 10, if it's 10, I make more videos like this. Also put the city where you are watching this video, which part of the world you belong to. Now I'm going to leave a suggestion for you to watch. It's a video that I talked about the 7 best foods in the world, foods that do good for your health. Now that you already know the worst, you need to know the best, those that you will add. Click here and you will be directed to it. A hug. See you next time.